Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 140 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. So it's getting close to the end of summer as we wrap up summer, and our family has enjoyed some pretty fun family activities. We kind of have it a low-key summer because we were rebuilding our emergency fund from getting our HVAC system replaced, but we were able to get some fun things in, and I was shocked at a few of the activities that we did and the prices that were offered for things like food, drink, beer. And I want to just talk on today's show, and I want to know if it's just me. Am I being a cheapskate, or are other people feeling the pinch of, this insane cost of good old family fun and making family memories, especially during the summer? We're going to have a conversation about it today on today's show. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Debt Free Dad podcast, where we're helping normal, everyday people learn how to save money and kick debt so they can live a happier and stress-free life. Now here's your host, Debt Free Dad, Brad Nelson.
Hey, how is everyone doing today? You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And as always, guys, welcome to today's show. And remember to get all the resources, show notes, and links for today's show. You can head over to balancesense.com/140. That's BALANCEDCENTS.com/140. So, guys, I wanted to just share how patience pays off. I know we did a whole, I think we did a whole episode on the whole idea of patience and personal finance and how that plays a role. But I have been looking for a basketball hoop for my son, and he's gotten really into basketball, especially over the last, I'd say, year. And when we were living in our old house, we didn't really have a place for a basketball hoop, but now where we're at, we kind of have a whole parking spot that could be used as kind of a mock basketball court, I guess you would say. So anyways, I've been kind of looking on Facebook Marketplace just for something used. I knew at his age, like he's 12 going on 13. It's like, I don't really want to buy a brand new one. I figured if I could get a discount on one or a deal, I'd pick one up on Facebook Marketplace. So lo and behold, we had a friend of ours post on Facebook just a couple days ago, like, hey, I'm getting rid of selling this basketball hoop. Who wants it? And we camped with them. And I was like, texted them right away. I was like, hey, how much you want for the hoop? And they're like, for you guys, just free. Just buy us a bottle of alcohol at camp. I'm like, perfect. So I was able to reasonably save hundreds of dollars on a basketball hoop. I'm pretty excited about it. And Noah is so thrilled with it. I'm excited. He's excited. But yeah, free stuff. I don't even know if I shared this on the podcast, but a couple weeks ago, well, about a month ago probably, I got like a free fire pit on Facebook Marketplace, free landscape stones. So yeah, if you're patient and you're willing to give it some time and it's not a need right away, man, you can get some good deals out there. Have you guys ever had any luck with that?
We just redid our floor in our camper, and it was free because somebody was giving away some flooring they took out of their house. I was like, it's our camper. I don't need anything fancy. So we did it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Patience pays off. I love those kind of deals. It makes you feel good. I was willing to drive the almost hour and a half to go down and get it today. So it cost me a lot of money in gas, but it was worth it to go get it. So anyways, guys, today I want to talk about this because I got to admit, last week, this is where this kind of came up from. We got offered free tickets to go to a local Milwaukee Brewers game. So Milwaukee Brewers, Major League Baseball, and they're only about 20-25 minutes from Milwaukee and where they play. And friends of ours have like a 20-game pack, and they don't go to all the games. And usually we can't go anyways because of stuff that's going on, or we're at camp or whatever it might be. But we just lucked out. It just happened to be that they had tickets available, and they were giving them to us for free. And we actually had time to go. I was like, holy crap, let's go. And it's been years since we've been to a Brewers game. Me and my wife used to go there quite a bit when we were first dating, even early on in our marriage. But once we started camping and we started prioritizing our budget and where we wanted to focus our money and spending our money, the Brewers kind of fell off, right? Especially when you start having kids, because it gets expensive, right? And that's what I want to kind of talk about because we go to this game, and again, we got our tickets for free. We got parking for free. But when I got into the stadium, I was shocked at the prices of mostly just beverages, not so much food. I thought some of the food, there was some food that was like really overpriced, obviously, but I thought it was the beverages that shocked me the most. So I went up And I was like, and we lucked out because it was $1 hot dog night. So all hot dogs were $1. Now, don't get me wrong. They were cold. They weren't very warm, right? And they weren't the greatest hot dogs, but they were only $1. So I couldn't complain completely about the experience. But at the same time, I went to go and we're like, hey, let's go get a beer. So we get in line and I look at the price and it was between $10 to $11. We're talking $10 for like a watered down like Coors Light, not anything fancy or delicious like a craft beer. And obviously upwards of $11 or more for something like, much better. And I was just blown away, $10 or $11. Now, granted, it was the bigger cans, not like the little tiny 12-ounce, although they did have a few of those in some of the craft beer selections. But I just couldn't believe it. And then it got even worse when I looked at water. Now, one thing with baseball games is that you can bring some things in. Like we brought in a few waters and we brought in a few small snacks for the kids and things because we knew, we didn't want to spend a ton at the game. But we also wanted to spend a little bit, to let them have a few things, which is fine. Well, the water didn't last long. The kids drank that right away. And then my daughter, Avery, wanted another water. $5.39 for a freaking bottle of water. I couldn't believe it. I was like, thinking in the back of my mind, you could buy almost a case and a half of water for $5.39. And I at that point, I just started to get really irritated.
Well, this is why we all opt just to drink the beer. I mean, I know she couldn't drink the beer, but, as an adult, I'm not paying that for water. I might as well just have another beer.
But even soda was like $1 more. It was like $6.50, I think, for just a soda. And I'm just like, why? Why? I get, okay, and we'll talk about this. I get alcohol to a point, right? Especially if you're going to a major event like this or a sporting event. I understand to a point they don't want to make alcohol so cheap that, too many people have too much and people get drunk and start fights and get crazy, right? Because we all seen those videos on TikTok and, YouTube and on Facebook, right? We all see those. But, what is the rationale when you are calling your activity family fun? What is the rationale behind a $5.39 bottle of water and a $6.50 soda? How do you expect... And I'm debt free. I'm like, there's no way in hell that I would be able to afford any of this stuff when I was broke. Although, well, I shouldn't say that. I did. I just went into debt for it, right? but how does the average family afford to take their family to an event like this and be able to experience the whole thing, right? And I mean experience it like who doesn't like to go to a baseball game and have like a hot dog and a beer or soda and maybe some nachos or some popcorn, right? Or, things like that. Like, be able to experience it. And, Ryan, I remember when we were kids, Mom and Dad used to cheap out on that, too. Like, we'd go to some of those things and Mom, or Mom would just have the economy way of going, right? It was just, the cheapest way of going because they, too, it was expensive for them back when we were kids. And so I'm totally feeling that now, right? But at the same time, it's like, I feel like you should be able to go to these, and an average family should be able to afford to give their family like that cool baseball experience, or if you're going to take it to a football game, a football experience, or whatever it might be, right? So this is where it kind of all started from. And then a few weeks earlier, after before the Brewers game, back in early August, we have the Wisconsin State Fair here, and my wife loves the State Fair. Now, I am not like, I don't mind the State Fair. Like, I like it, but I don't have to go every year. Now, my wife is, we got to go every year, right? So it's in our budget every year. Like, I know it's going to be there. And it's the same thing there. It's just interesting to me that for something that's supposed to be family friendly, just how much they charge for everything. Tickets, even though you can get value tickets, if you plan ahead, buy early, you can get cheaper tickets. But tickets are like $17 a person to get in. Parking is $10 to $20. Beer there, not as quite as much as the baseball game, but $7.75 to $10 a beer. Cocktails are obviously going to be much higher. But water, and I don't quite remember the exact prices of all the water. They did have one free water fill-up station, which was kind of nice. But, other places, it was $3, $4, $5 a water. And, they say you can bring in one water bottle. Well, if you're at the State Fair all day long, from the time it opens until the time it closes, you're only going to drink one bottle of water, 85, 90 degrees outside. I'm like, come on, right? But then you start talking about the activities at the fair. Like my daughter, she rode a pony for literally 5 to 7 minutes. It was $10. to ride on a pony that was chained up and went around in a circle. Right? Now, my wife loved the pictures, right? Then there was like the 10-minute trampoline bungee jump, and that was $12. Again, just about 10 minutes. She went down to the big yellow slide. That was about 3 seconds of fun. That was $3 just to go down for 3 seconds. And then the Ferris wheel, that was $8 per person. And all of us went, right? And that was about 10 minutes tops. So again, you start thinking about like all of these types of activities, and I just, for me, and this is where I want to know, is it me being cheap or like, I guess maybe use the Christmas bah humbug type thing? But it feels like every time like you go to one of these types of places or things, I just feel like I'm being gouged for everything. And for me, it takes, maybe it's the dad in me, right? I don't know. It just is like opening up that wallet. It's like creak, right? It just, for me, I feel like it just takes a lot of the fun out of it when you know you're just being gouged for everything. And I just question why. Like, for instance, if my kids could have gotten cheaper water or cheaper soda, I probably would have bought another one or more of whatever it was because it was more reasonably priced. But because it's priced so high, like, I don't even really want to buy them any of it just out of principle, right? Because it's just so darn expensive. So guys, I need to be either sat in my place. You need to sit me in my place like, nah, you're just being cheap, or is this seriously getting to the point where it's like, it's insanity going to some of these things and paying some of the prices that they have for these things?
Well, you just don't remember what being in debt was like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Well, I mean that, and I mean that kind of seriously in the sense that, you know, the ease of like debt. I mean, if you just look at, you know, over the past 50 years at like the economy and how everything has become more expensive, and to me, it all falls right in line with that ability to normalize debt. And the more we normalize debt, the higher the prices are. You know, I mean, there's two factors in this. One is if nobody was paying $5 for a water, they would lower the price, but people pay for it because if you don't have the cash, it's easy to have the cash. And I do think that's a part of it. I mean, we've gone on some things. Before we started this, I said we've been to some concerts, just doing things like going to a place like Top Golf is expensive. We did Universal Studios. We've done Disney. You have to like put it out of your mind, right? I mean, that's what we do. You just have to go and kind of you have to know before you go that, you know, you're gonna, I mean, that's what we do. I mean, you just know, like, you know, cause I'm the same way. It drives me crazy and it makes me angry, but in the same respect, it's like, I don't want to be that dad that's like at the window, like $5 for water. What are you, crazy? You know? And they're like, dude, it's Disney. Like, what did you expect? So we just go and accept it. It doesn't make it right, but it is the reality. But I mean, I do think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that, you know, I think because debt is so normalized, they know that people are going to go, even if you can't technically afford it. When we talk about afford it, from our point of view, we say pay cash, like have it saved, you pay cash and you go to a baseball game. But afford it to most people is put it on the credit card and I pay it off.
We'll figure it out later.
That's how a lot of people go to these sorts of things and they don't think about it. They buy 5 beers and 4 cocktails and 7 waters and 8 hot dogs and they get a, you know, $700 credit card statement and they pay it off over the next 18 months or however long. And, right. You know, it's how I used to be. I never cared. I mean, I went to Disney a lot of times, took a lot of pictures, posted a lot of stuff on social media about look at me, and I charged it every time.
Right, right.
And we had a blast in a way, but I spent years paying that off.
Right. Man, I just don't know that I like the way you said it, though, is that we have to accept it. Like, it's just,
well, he's got a point though. If you want to go, there's no real getting around it in a sense. I mean, I'm the packer of the lunch. Like, I will pack the cooler. We went to the zoo this summer. I packed the cooler. When we got there around noon. We ate lunch outside in the parking lot, out of the cooler, and we went in.
Right.
And then we got like a little ice cream. I think we got my granddaughter an ice cream, and we got ourselves each a drink. But those, again, $7. The ice cream, I think, was $6. parking 14. By the time everybody went in, $28 for an adult.
Right. But when does it break though? Like how, I mean, and we do a lot of the same things, like helping out with, we'll help out the budget by being able to either buy cheaper tickets or bring snacks in when we can. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with all that. But at the same time, it's like, at what point does it get so expensive that they just price out a big part of the market, and people who want to experience it or want to be there just simply can't afford it? Like, if you think about the way prices have gone up on just even concerts, like when I would go to concerts in my 20s, I'm in my early 40s now, we're talking 20 years ago now, it's just crazy how much more expensive concerts, just the tickets are now, right? So I look at it and I'm like, if I'm 20-something and now I'm in my early 40s and I actually make money, right, more than I made in my time, how are people in their early 20s and mid-20s, how the heck are they even affording to go to some of these shows? I just
they're staying at home. They live at home.
Yeah, maybe. I just can't wrap my head around it. And then like you said, right, you were talking about, people just do it. And that's what was shocking to me, is that it was amazing to me how many people were lined up paying those prices and paying for all those things. Now, what's interesting about the baseball game, and I'm not sure if all stadiums do this. In fact, I think this is a conversation we had in Roots a while back ago, but our baseball stadium is cashless. You have to use a debit card or a credit card, or they have like a machine in their lobby where you can put cash in and it gives you a card. But they don't take any cash anywhere, not even for beer coming down the aisles, nothing. You have to pay card for everything. So, when we talk about things like being aware and tracking your spending, it's so easy, especially after a couple beers in, to get a little crazy on what you're spending your money on at these things. I don't know.
That's they're in the business to make money, right? Just like anybody.
Right. Totally agree.
At the end of the day, no matter where you go, no matter what you're paying, if people are paying it, they're going to charge it. And if they charge a little more and people are paying, they're going to charge it, and I think that it's the old timey saying as we get older, right? If we all band together and we don't pay it, it's like, but the reality is it's just never going to happen. Yeah. Disney has been raising price. I mean, we went to Disney the first time in 2007. I think we paid, at the time it was like $55 a day, maybe 60, something like that to get in.
Right.
I mean, it's well over, I think it's up to like $120 to $130 a day now.
But they've been catching a lot of heat for that though, I think, haven't they? I mean, I've been hearing stories. People they're just saying, no, we're just not going to pay those prices. But
people are saying that, but there's plenty of people taking their place, right? They're not.
That's what I'm
Disney
saying. Right.
Isn't going, nobody's here. I mean, they're still packed. The hotels are still packed. Like nobody's like, so that's the thing. Like, so everybody says, how dare you? But then we all line up and do it anyway. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, the market rules. I mean, that's just everything. You look at housing prices now, all that stuff. I mean, I can't believe, just a few years ago, I thought paying, X amount for a house, 400,000 for a house was just crazy. But here we are a couple of years later and that same house is going for like 650. And I'm like, what did I miss?
Yeah. Right.
But people are paying it, right? They can't keep them on the market.
Yeah. And I think obviously, inflation plays a role in this. I mean, at the time we're recording this podcast, inflation is high. And so I get that could be playing a role in these prices, but even outside of inflation, it's still expensive to go to some of these things. So
agreed.
I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. I have such a hard time supporting that much. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I call it greed. Like seriously, I just have a hard time supporting that. And then how do me as a dad not become that dad while I'm at the game of, gosh, this stuff is so expensive. What is going, why is, my son, and I did this to my son. He went into the gift shop and he's like, Dad, can I go in the gift shop? And I was like, yeah, you can go in there. And I said, but I'm just telling you, you ain't getting anything. I was like, you go look at some of those prices in there. Dude, it's ain't going to happen, right? You can look and write down some birthday and Christmas ideas, but you're not walking out of here with anything. So I just want to let you know, don't get your hopes up. And I said, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's not happening today. Right. But yeah, it's so hard. It's like you're walking that line. Yes, you want to take your family out and have a good time, but at the same time, I feel I'm taking to the freaking cleaners every time that we go out and have a good time, right? And this is why we kind of settled on camping, because camping, when you break it down based on the value you get and how often you're able to go, and especially because of us, and we control our own time and schedules, and the freedom and flexibility of being able to camp whenever we want. I mean, for us, it's like amazing, right? And that's why we've chosen that activity, because we get a lot of value out of it based on the money that we spend compared to, doing some of these activities. It's just like, man. So anyways, I don't know. I'm still not feeling good even after this conversation. Seriously, it was like reliving the whole thing, and I want to have fun. I feel like it just takes a lot of the fun out from me. But I'll have to maybe take your advice, Ryan, and just suck it up. Just be like, it's gonna be expensive. It's okay. And these are kind of first, what do they call it? First world problems. Right. Is that what they say? Because obviously we went, right? We still had a good time. It was fun. And the tickets were free. It ended up being very reasonable. But what I was thinking, though, is like the average family. Like, how would an average family be able to afford something like this? And it just makes me angry, because they wouldn't in a lot of cases.
I know. And I think a lot of families have been priced out of a lot of the activities.
They totally have.
Even going to a movie with your family. I mean, by the time you pay for the movie tickets, and the movie tickets are the cheaper part.
Right.
It's the concession stands. That's where the movies make their money.
By the way, that was the other thing we did. We went to see Top Gun this past weekend, me and my wife, and we had free tickets. Crazy. This is how little we actually go see.
How are you getting all these free tickets?
We had free tickets from about 6 years ago. I don't know how many. It's probably 5, 6 years. There was a movie that we went and saw that they ended up like screwing up our seating for the event, and they ended up selling our tickets to somebody else, and we couldn't sit down. So they're like, we're sorry, you guys can take the next theater, the next showtime, but we'll also give you these free tickets. Well, we haven't gone back in like 5 or 6 years. It's the first movie we've seen. And so we went to go see Top Gun, but even then they bring up the prices and looking at the concession prices, and it's like,
now you might be a little cheap.
Yeah. Seriously. Think about it, though. Like, it was like $16 just for me and my wife to get into the movie, right? And then, so I'm thinking family-wise, not just me and my wife. Obviously, that's reasonable. And we went to a 3:30 showtime. But if you go at night, you're going out on a date, then you go, let's say you go out to dinner before or after, you're getting snacks at the theater. Man, it gets expensive.
Yeah, we've taken we love the movies. We go quite a bit. And I mean, if all 5 of us go and we go to like an IMAX and we get snacks and all, I mean, it's easily $125, $150.
Right.
By the time you're done. So yeah, 100%. Going to the movies, all that stuff is just crazy expensive these days.
Right. And so that's why I think Amber, you bring up a good point. I think there are a lot of families, especially right now with inflation the way it is, that are being priced out, that want to be able to go do these things. They just simply can't afford it anymore. I did find one thing interesting. I just want to mention this as kind of like looking, because I started reading articles about Major League Baseball prices and food prices at events and things. And one of the articles I saw was the Atlanta Falcons. And remember, guys, I'd said, what would happen if they just made the prices more reasonable for everybody? Would people buy more and be able to afford more? And the Falcons actually did this. They call it their fans first menu pricing. And they started doing this in 2018, and they are still doing it today. I'm almost positive. I read an article, and they are still doing it today. Ryan, you're shaking your head yes. And they've won a bunch of awards for it now, like for variety and service and speed and all sorts of things. But in 2018, the Falcons said at season end that the concession sales increased 53% with their fans first menu pricing. And the fans on average spent 16% more than in 2016. So by lowering prices, if profitability is one of the reasons, because it's a business that these types of, baseball and football or events are doing, well, the profit's all there. Like, it's not going anywhere. And people are able to actually afford to actually go and buy a little bit of food and be able to enjoy the game without feeling like it's breaking the bank. So again, I'm not sure why more people and more places aren't taking that. And I think it goes back to what you said, Ryan. If people are willing to pay it, why would anybody want to lower the price? Right? So it all goes back to that. when are we all going to go on strike and not go to these things?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyways, just wanted to have that conversation with you guys. I just felt like I had to get it off my chest. I don't feel really too much better, and maybe I just need to change my attitude about it. It is. Maybe it's just an attitude problem. So, all right, guys, we're going to do a quick commercial. We'll come back here. We're going to do celebrations.
Hey, if you love planners, this is for you. But do you know why planners frustrate me? Because they only really get it half right. Now, sure, they're really good and fancy about helping you manage your time, which is really important, obviously. That's what a planner's for. But where they get it wrong is money, the second most valuable resource in our lives. Most planners don't include any financial planning. Things like, keeping track of paydays, bills, due dates, spending, yearly expenses, budgets, cash flow planning, debt elimination plans, and goal planning, right? None of that stuff. That's a real pain. And then what? Then you got to create your own in some silly binder, right? And who has time for all of that stuff? So instead, what happens? Nothing, right? A lot of people tend to ignore their finances even more, and things only get worse. Well, that all ends today because I am so excited to announce and release my brand new, totally awesome Debt Freedom Planner. This thing's awesome, by the way. Now, before you say, Brad, I've already got a planner. This is not an ordinary day planner. This is the Debt Freedom Planner, which is a companion tool that works with your day planner, and it's built to help you manage your money, pay off more debt, and melt away financial stress. And I believe this is the tool that a lot of people who want to take control of their finances have been waiting for. So head on over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu to get access to your planner today.
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party! Let's
All right. That sound means it's time for the celebrations of the show. And today we're kicking it off with Sarah Ann. Sarah says, I got my raise, so I'll have a little extra in the budget than past months. Instead of automatically saying, ooh, I can add something fun back in, I said, I can add it to my snowball. She says, mindset changes are a huge part of this for sure. Sarah Ann, you are absolutely correct. And what an awesome one to have. Great celebration.
Nancy Manaz paying off my husband's student loan today.
That is awesome. Gotta feel good. Way to go, Nancy.
Sarah Boyson ate out for lunch yesterday, so I made sure to eat breakfast at home and packed a lunch for today so I won't be tempted to eat out again.
Awesome. There you go, Sarah. Little behavior changes there. Love it. Bobby Johnston. My kids were home last week, and we celebrated my son's birthday with 2 hours at, hey, you just mentioned this, Ryan.
Yeah,
Top Golf. Yeah. And dinner later. I paid cash for all of it because I was good about my spending the previous weeks. Awesome win, Bobby.
Kathy McMillan paying off 2 credit cards today.
There you go, Kathy. Got to feel fantastic.
Cindy Kirkpatrick Hannah. I didn't stop at Ulta. It was a struggle because I had a coupon, but no dollars spent. It made me realize that I want to spend money when I am stressed. Good insight, and that's the win.
Yep, that's an awesome win. Congratulations, Cindy, and congratulations to all of you guys who are working so hard at reaching financial freedom. And hey, remember, if you're just getting started with our podcast, or maybe you've been listening for some time and you're interested in how you can get started on the road to financial freedom, visit our website at balancesense.com and sign up for our free Life Without Payments workshop, where I'm actually going to walk you and show you the first steps that have helped tens of thousands of people, including myself, people like Amber, people like Ryan, and people just like you, kick financial stress and worry for good. And thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our podcast. So please leave us an honest review. We read every single one of those. And as you guys know, the Debt Free Dad podcast is here to help you live a happier and stress-free financial life. So if you know someone who could benefit from our show, please give us a share. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys on an upcoming episode. Take care.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our YouTube show. So please give us a like or leave us some honest feedback on this video. And if you want the latest from the show, obviously be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. And for the latest resources, or if you want more information on how to kick debt and financial stress, please be sure to check out the links in this video or head over to therealdebtfreedad.com. We'll see you guys on an upcoming show. Take care.